Hey, Bill Gates here. I'm doing my Xbox Live video. Basically, just gonna try to go through this as quickly as possible, um, with getting a little bit more descriptions on the games itself, maybe something that has nostalgia feeling. Keep in mind, when it came to cross-platform last generation, I went completely Xbox, just because I thought it was an underrated system when it first came out, but the graphics blew me away more than the PS2, more than the GameCube, and then with Xbox Live support on a lot of these games, free content and you could play online. That just blew me away, and since then I've been 100% Xbox. In fact, the original Xbox is my favorite system. Overthrew my NES being the number one system for me, just because of Xbox Live and just what we are today as gamers is because of this system. And unfortunately, a lot of this content is now gone. I have it backed up. Xbox Live, you can't play these games online anymore, so that's why I feel I'm going to take a little bit more time just to kind of explain the history, just how much nostalgia this system really has for me. In fact, starting off with Xbox Live Starter Kit. This one, it basically started it all. I had $50 in my hand and I walked into GameStop with an interest in Xbox Live and Star Wars Galaxy for the PC. You know, and I put my faith in the GameStop employee. I know, stupid. Don't ever do that, kids. But luckily it worked out. The guy, kind of steered me towards Xbox Live, and the rest is history for me. I keep this for nostalgia reasons, not only because it has Tetris World, the full game, just because this started it off, and hey, Bill Gates has been ever since. Next is the arcade. Includes this was like a demo. I think they were supposed to charge $4.99 for this. I got it for free from my local GameStop because they knew I just buy so much stuff there. But it included a bunch of demos, and these were time demos where you had so much time to play each one. But it also includes Miss Pac-Man. So this is kind of predecessor to what we see now on Xbox Live with the Xbox Live Marketplace. So I keep this just because it's Xbox and it's got Miss Pac-Man, and the wife would kill me if I threw that away. Next is Advent Rising. I had really no interest in this game. I knew it had a huge kind of when it was first coming out, people were going nuts about how realistic this game was, and then the ratings came out for this, and it just died. I mean, everybody hated it. But I kind of picked this up around a couple years ago, about the same time Mass Effect was being talked about, and that really looked interesting to me, and it kind of reminded me of it. So I picked it up. Again, I don't spend more than $5 to $12 on any of these games, so this was on the cheap and it was complete. So one of these days, I'll play it. And I should say, getting another ground rule, I collect only for retirement, and that's my motto: collecting for retirement, because I'm a father. I'm a husband, I work, and I'm never going to be able to play these games anytime soon. But I pick them up on the cheap now because, 5, 10, 15 years from now, you're not going to find them in the condition I find them or for the price. So, I made that mistake when it came to the PS1 and Dreamcast when they're basically throwing those games away. And I missed out, and I'm paying top dollar to complete my collection nowadays. And so I'm not making that mistake. Same with the current system. When I find a game cheap, I can't play it now, but I put it in my collection so when I can. And that's another one, kind of an RPG-ish. What the interesting thing is, you could win $1 million. I don't remember the whole thing, but I know somebody did. Maybe they're watching this video and they could tell us how they did it. But I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah, I know they probably didn't make enough money to make that money back. But yeah, so that's in my collection. Next is Area 51. I had this game only because I love the light gun arcade version. And in fact, I have the PS1 version also with a light gun. But this seems pretty cool. So I like the kind of alien storyline to this. Also, keep in mind, this game, never played. Um, this game, I played about halfway through. I know if you beat this game, you know about what halfway mark I'm talking about, and I kind of lost interest at that point. But one of these days I'll pick it up and play it more. Next is Armed and Dangerous. These kind of games are nobody really knows about, and that's really sad. I kind of have been a fan of going through forums and listening to, Racket Boy is a great website. At the time, I was a big Penny Arcade, and I would just propose, what original Xbox game do you think people are missing? And this was one of those that kind of people said, only because there's a gun in here. It's called a shark gun. In fact, you got a picture of it. You shoot the gun, and then the sharks come out of the wall, out of the ground, and eat people. And that sounds cool enough for me. Also, what's really cool about games like this, before they turned off the servers, is when you bought a game, you would get extra content for free. And they had Lily's Summer House, which was a fun little extra mission, extra level, and that was cool. You buy a game, you get a free level. That's worth it to me. Now they charge and they charge and charge and charge and charge, which is ridiculous. I wait till it goes way cheap, or greatest hits, or somewhere where it's going to include a game of the year edition where the content's for free included in the disc. So don't always go out there and buy the content. Just be patient. Be a cheap ass gamer. Like this one, Battlefield 2. When they had the demo for this. I don't know if you pre-ordered it or they just gave it away, but at the time GameStop was just giving the demo away, or maybe I did pre-order it. I don't remember. It's been so long, but the demo, the servers were on for so long, and so I was able to play like 3 missions, and people were still playing the demo for free. And so I was like, why am I gonna go out and pay $50 when I could play online for like ever? So that was one of those things where I just played online, and then finally there was not that many people on, or it wasn't that fun. But this is a great game. I know they made other ones, but this really has great nostalgia for me as far as online. Just because being a sniper and sniping the helicopter, getting the pilot, and everybody else crashes if they don't jump out, or here's the tank comes over the bridge and you throw C4 and you blow them up. Just that kind of stuff. Graphics don't hold up on that well online. You can play the 360 version. I don't think I have it, but no, I don't think anybody else plays it anymore. But that was kind of cool. One of those great Xbox Live memories that are now gone. Next is Beyond Good and Evil. No need to talk about this game. Everybody pretty much knows about that game. If you don't know about it, try the demo on the 360. Also, Blood Rain. Those are one of those cheap games that I got for like $3.99, $2.99, and so everybody said, "Oh, that's kind of a fun game." And the movie was coming out, and I said, "Okay, I'll just try it." I know there's a sequel. I've never played it. If I like, maybe one of these days if I do, I might pick up the sequel. Next is Black Hawk Down. This game, surprisingly, I've never played. I have no interest in playing this game. The reason being, I was a huge Rainbow Six fan, and this game killed Rainbow Six. The servers died, mainly because this game was, you can't see it, but it says 2 to 32 players. Xbox Live back in the day was 16 players max, and then they came out with this game. This game was crap. Nobody really liked it or played it, but because people could play up to 32 players online, that was a huge draw, and it killed the Rainbow Six servers. And so I picked this game up cheap, downloaded all the content, only just because, nostalgia. It killed Rainbow Six. Next is Black. Not too many, this was kind of a huge, back then when this game was coming out, everybody talked about how cool and realistic this game was going to be. The physics were going to be awesome. The graphics really do not hold up to this day. If you play this now, you just laugh at it. Kind of reminds me of Homefront, where everybody was just, wow, Homefront's going to be an awesome, the story and everything. And then the graphics are pretty much like this nowadays. They are just crap. So same with Black. I know they've been talking about a sequel, but really no interest in it. Really, unless they do some. If you want something like this, get Red Faction, and you want some great graphics or better graphics, I should say, with great physics. Next is Blinx. This is kind of one of those really kind of in the beginning of the Xbox life. It was really cool. Concept was really cool. There is a sequel. Pretty much the only game that I'm missing, the one is the sequel to this. I haven't played much of it. Maybe back in 2003, maybe like 2 or 3 levels. And I recently picked it up. It wasn't my game. It was my aunt's. And so I recently picked this up. And just been looking for the sequel complete for a pretty cheap price. Next is Bloody Roar. Kind of one of those I've never played. I bought it because I love the original. Had to have the Xbox version because they have the arcade stick, and I thought, well, the reviews on this weren't that good, but it's Bloody Roar and it's on the cheap. Next is Breakdown. Not too many people know about this game. This is kind of like Armed and Dangerous, where it was kind of one of those recommended. Kind of when I looked at the video, kind of reminded me of God Hand for the PS2, which kind of has its own cult following. And maybe I thought this game might be the same way. I've never played it. To be honest, again, I collect from a retirement. Just to recap, but if it's anything like God Hand, which I like, not love, but I really really like. Um, so I thought, well, might as well try this one. Kind of remind me of that. Oh, trash cans again. Sorry, guys. Brothers in Arms, Road to Hill 30. My brother recommended this game, knowing that I'm a first-person shooter. He played online a lot with this game, and he knows I hate RTSs. And this, I'm a huge World War II fan, but he knows I hate RTSs. So he, recommended this game. I played like the first and second level and just hated it. Just turned it off, never turned it on again, never played online. I hated it so much that I got its sequel. Don't ask me why. It was a buy two get one free, and this was the only complete game they had. And I said, well, I hate it so much, might as well get its sequel. Maybe one of these days I'll appreciate it more later. So my tastes have changed. I was huge adventure platformer game. Now I'm all first person shooter. So maybe my taste will change, and it was free. So you can't argue against that. Next is Brute Force. This is the reason that I'm talking about these games. Brute Force is a great game. This was one of the first games besides Halo that I just bought and absolutely loved. Another reason why was content download. You got free levels. You got multiplayer levels. It wasn't online. I really wish it was an online game. It would be awesome. But there were multiplayer levels that you could play with System Link. And this was all free. You bought the game, you get this stuff for free, and that was awesome. Totally love that. This is a game you must pick up if you have the original Xbox. I highly recommend it. It is a little cheesy. The graphics don't hold up that well, but they're still pretty good. And it's an interesting concept. If you see how games and you see like the Halo Reach and you see the squad-based games. I think myself, this was pushed by Microsoft. This was released by Microsoft Game Studios. It's kind of like, what you see as far as the squad-based games. Kind of Brute Force, in my opinion, kind of really stepped it up and did a great job on that. Next is Burnout. I should say I'm not a big racing fan, but this seemed like an old arcade Daytona USA, Crash, and I picked this up way late. And out of all the Burnout series, people recommended this the most, and it's fun. I'm not a racing fan. I'm in my 30s. I've been driving since I was 16. Why do I want to play a game when I can drive myself? But I can't crash like this, and that's pretty cool. So I like that aspect. Next is Call of Duty. I didn't pick up any of the Call of Duty series till way later, until I played Call of Duty 2 for the original Xbox 360. Well, the original Xbox. I should say Xbox 360. And then I went back to this series. The reason I didn't pick any of these up because I played Medal of Honor Frontline for the GameCube and hated it. I love the original Medal of Honor for the PS1, but the PS1, but the GameCube version just killed me on these first-person shooters. So I went back and picked up Call of Duty Finest Hour, and I also have Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1, and I have the Collector's Edition, which has the bonus disc, has content from the World War II guys. So that's kind of cool to watch. And pretty much anything for me as far as collecting, if it was a collector's edition, 90% of the time I pick it up. There are a few exceptions when it comes to the 360, and I'll get more of those when I shoot that video next. But yeah, if it was collector's edition, pretty much on the Xbox, I had to have it. Capcom Classics Collections. I'm a huge fan of these series. These were awesome. I highly recommend them. These are a little bit more pricier. I think these were, at the time I was collecting, like $20+, but well worth it. Street Fighter 2, Ghosts and Goblins, Bionic Commando, Section G, 1942, Commando, Gunsmoke, Final Fight. plus more. These are great just because if you don't want to pull out your old NES or Super NES, here you go, all in one. And here's an even better collection. This one took forever to find complete, and that's Volume 2. This has got some great games, more Street Fighters. Both these I highly recommend for anybody. That there's some for the PSP, but really the Xbox hands down did it great. Continuing on to the Capcom Fighting Evolution. I'm a huge Capcom fighting fan. And this, I only had really interest in this because, again, it's Street Fighter, it's cheap. But it did have Red Earth, which I kind of heard some interesting things about this fighting series in Japan. Just horrible. But I do like it because it's a Capcom fighting game. Same thing along with the Capcom versus SNK 2 EO. This one you could play online, and this one you could play online. Anytime I went online, nobody was there. So I can't really say what the experience online was, but it's Capcom Fighter, gotta have it. Next is the Chronicles of Riddick. I played maybe the first level. I know this has got a cult following. If you buy, I think the other Riddick game for the 360, this one's included. So, yeah, pick it up if you like that kind of stuff. Next is Conkers Live and Reloaded. I have the Nintendo 64 version. The only reason I bought this is because you could play online. At the time, I don't know what that noise is. Jesus, crackheads, Los Angeles crackheads. Conkers Live and Reloaded, you could play online. And I came into this maybe about a year before the servers came down, and the night before it came down, people were still playing this, and it was a fun game online. I'm sad, it's gone, because this was a lot of fun online. Kind of quirky. Remind me of, like, if you were have a Fur Fighters for the Dreamcast online, that's what it was. Next is Counter-Strike. This is one of the rare limited editions. It's numbered. I know you can't see the numbers, the glare, but mine is 20626. Counter-Strike I had really no interest in, but it was I played. I had it back in the day, and I think I lent a friend, and he never returned it, so I bought it again. I was on eBay, and they had this one for like $2 more. So I picked it up. Never really got into Counter-Strike, but I did play it online, and even the night it died, people are still playing it. Crash Bandicoot, Wrath of Cortex, and Twistanity. I'm a huge Crash fan, so I own those games. Crimson Skies. I'm going to end it off on this first part of the series here, just because I'm going to take a couple moments to talk about how much I love this game online. The single player was great. I remember getting this game and playing Ghost Recon, and people were talking about the original Ghost Recon. First year it came out, and people were saying, so what's the new, what cool game are you going to get? I heard about Crimson Skies, and I love kind of these flight simulator games. Arcade style, I should say. Flight arcade style. And this was right up the alley. Playing online, I played the night, I was an ace the first day this came out, and I played this. This was the last game I played till they shut off the servers, and I was so happy to play with a group of guys. It was awesome. I love this game. I wish they make a sequel. The closest you can get to something like this is Snoopy, Flying Ace for the Xbox 360. Which, if it's on the cheap, I think it's actually $5 now. So I highly recommend that game, if you have ever liked Crimson Skies, get Snoopy. But this was just a great game. Make a sequel, Microsoft. This was another one of those, underrated Xbox Live games. People talk about the game itself, but nobody really talks about how much fun this was on Xbox Live. Yeah, Dust Devil was my plane, and I love that thing to death. And so yeah, so this is the end of part 1. Stay tuned for part 2.